Speculation is rising quickly that Canada Post is in big trouble. It could even be on the verge of insolvency. So the question today is, does it even matter? Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. In Canada, we are on the verge of becoming the first G7 country without a national postal service. And if that doesn't punch you in the patriotic gut, I don't know what will. See, Canada Post is broke. $3 billion in losses over the last 7 years. $315 million lost in just one quarter. And now the feds are bailing them out with $1 billion loan just to keep the trucks rolling and the lights on. What the hell happened to our postal service? It seems nobody seemed to care until this point, and now they're in super big trouble. Well, here is what happened. Canada Post's costs kept climbing while the world moved on. Letter mail down 65% since 2006. Flyers and circulars, forget it. They are practically dead. Parcel business, that's now dominated by private carriers who are faster, leaner, and way more aggressive than Canada Post ever was, is, or even could be. Did you want to guess how much they're spending to deliver mail daily to your household? Over $2 billion a year just on operations. And while you may not care about getting another pizza flyer in your mailbox, you should care that those mailboxes are part of the glue that's holding rural Canada together. Because this isn't just about late mail. It's about what kind of country we are becoming. See, when your grandma's birthday card doesn't show up, Aunt Betty's birthday card doesn't show up, when your hydro bill goes missing, when your prescription refill, if you get those by mail, sits in limbo because the mail system is collapsing, that is the collapse of something much, much larger in this country. But we have to kind of go backwards to Canada Post's early days to really look at all of this. Canada Post was once a point of pride in this country. It connected a vast, rugged country with reliability, even in the dead of winter. And now it's a liability. And the unions are sounding the alarm as well. Postal workers worried that they're getting squeezed while the corporation bleeds them out, and it bleeds out itself. Parcel volumes are declining at Canada Post. Labor costs are through the roof. Canada Post has nearly 65,000 employees across this country and a fleet of over 14,000 vehicles. And it's delivering less and less. Half of its physical infrastructure is operating below capacity. We're talking thousands of underutilized square footage in buildings that still need to be powered, maintained, and staffed. They've even floated the idea of phasing out daily home delivery for individuals like us. Did you hear that? We're not talking about delays anymore. We're talking about actually not receiving mail. We're talking about removing door-to-door service altogether. What do seniors do? What do people with mobility issues do? What do folks in remote communities do? What do our Indigenous peoples do? See, this is a huge question. Do we still need a postal service? Many of you are probably sitting there thinking, I don't mail anything in a year. But let's get real. In 2025, people pay bills online. They text, they email, they FaceTime. The average Canadian sends maybe 2 letters a year. Some of you, again, like I said, are probably sitting there going, I don't send any. Most of us get junk mail and flyers, and that's pretty much it. But here's the kicker. Just because you don't use it every day doesn't mean it's not vital. Think rural communities, think the elderly, think small businesses shipping goods from coast to coast, many of them still using Canada Post to do so. We rip this service away, and the ripple effect it will have will be absolutely brutal. Canada Post isn't just delivering mail. It's not just letters coming in the mail or bills. It's delivering things like prescriptions, as I said earlier, government documents, voting packages, tax notices. In some Indigenous communities and remote regions, it's really the only consistent point of federal contact. Think about that. Canada Post is more than a mailbox, it's a tether to the state. There are also legal and security implications of all of this, too. Canada Post is federally regulated. They don't just toss your package in a ditch when it rains. They have protocols, accountability, and public responsibility, and those things cost money as well. Things you can't always count on from a private gig economy courier just trying to get as many packages delivered during their workspace time as possible. And when and sorry, I should say, what does it say about your government that they let it get this bad? That the crown jewel of public infrastructure is now a financial black hole. We found billions for corporate subsidies and consultants and bureaucracy, but not to fix an essential service? That's not oversight. That's just blatant neglect. And let's not pretend this collapse came out of nowhere. Canada Post hasn't innovated meaningfully in over a decade. Amazon and FedEx, well, they've figured out same day delivery, predictive routing, and digital notifications. Meanwhile, Canada Post is still dropping "We missed you" slips in your mailbox like it's 1999. They've tried some things, give them credit. They have tried some things like package lockers, email notifications, flex delivery, but really it's too little, too late. And management, let's just say you don't build public trust by quietly slashing service levels while demanding more from workers. It's just not right. I think the point here is we do we do need them, but do we need them? This is where we're going to have this debate in the comments, folks, because the question becomes, do we fight to save Canada Post or admit it's over? Do we cling to tradition or do we evolve? Because if we do nothing, Canada Post is toast. All right, let's flip this positive here for a second and let's go jump into our What the Maple before we conclude this episode. Because, hey, this is Canada. We got to be positive from time to time, don't we? Polite, positive. When the big systems fail, the little guys rise in this country. So here is today's What the Maple moment. And let me introduce you to the Halifax Honey Company, run by Jake Mahoney. Now, while Canada Post struggles to deliver mail, Jake's actually been delivering something else, hope. Now, what you might ask, how? Well, during the pandemic, when seniors were isolated and struggling, Jake hand delivered care packages to seniors, not just in his town, but across Nova Scotia. Not for profit, for kindness. His honey company is thriving because of this, but his heart, even bigger. You can actually check them out at mapleandhoney.ca and see what community care really looks like in this country. Because something like what Jake is doing is really what Canada Post needs to get to doing. If we're going to save Canada Post, it's going to have to be pushing their community involvement more. Because to connect its own people in this country, to deliver a message, a gift, a bill, a lifeline, what else does it lose? The country could lose its unity, its sovereignty, part of its soul. A postal service is not just about mail, it's about presence. And Canada Post, in all its red and white glory, with a little blue, was once a presence in every town, every reserve, every neighborhood. If we let it die, we better be damn sure what replaces it can do more than profit. It must also serve, just like Jake. We are not just watching the mail disappear. We're watching an institution vanish while we argue over whether it's worth saving at all. Maybe we don't all need letters anymore, but we do need a country that shows up for our people, for our services, and those in need. So what now? Maybe it's time to imagine a new Canada Post. digital, lean, community focused. But let's just not let it vanish into history without a fight. Subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. Do we save it? Or do we send Canada Post packing? That's the real question here. Thanks for watching.